Okay, I couldn't find any like really good YouTube videos, so I'm gonna make one myself. First thing you need to know is that there are two different like sets of like stitches. There's like the English version and then there's like the American version. So just try to look for the American version. Like it probably will always be the American version for whatever you find. The second thing is whenever you find yarn, if you don't know like what size like hook to use, on the yarn it'll always tell you, like it'll always have something that looks like that. So like for this one, for example, you would want a 4mm hook. So, but I'm not going to use this one. I'm just going to use this like random yarn and this hook. So I'm pretty sure you probably already know this part, but the first thing you're going to do is the chain, which is how you like basically start everything off. So you're going to want to do a slip knot. So you're going to wrap the yarn around your like fingers twice so that there's like two on top, like that, and then just like roll them over each other a couple times, doesn't really matter, and then just like pull it into a knot. And then you just put your hook on there, tighten it up, and then what you're gonna do is yarn over. So you go yarn over the hook like that, and then you're gonna pull through. And you're gonna do that as many times as the pattern or whatever calls for. So I'm just gonna do it like 10 times. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 9, 10. So whenever you finish a row of something, you're gonna do an extra chain. So if I want this to be 10, I'm gonna have to do an extra, so I'm gonna have to make it 11. So now you have your chain, and it'll look something like that. Trying to get a professional setup going. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to do a single crochet, which is probably the most common one that you'll do. So when you're looking at your chain, you always want to skip the first little loop and go straight to the second one. So for a single crochet, you're going to put it into that first little loop. And another thing to note, whenever you just have your chain, like there's nothing but the chain, you're always gonna put it into the back loop because you don't have those holes yet. So put it into the back loop, the back little piece right there of the second chain, and then you'll have two little loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull that yarn through both of those loops, and that's a chain one stitch, or not a chain one, a single crochet stitch. So then you're going to continue to do that all the way down until you get to the end. I like to count just to make sure that I'm doing the right number, but so the next stitch would be right here, and you're gonna pull a little yarn through, yarn over, and pull it through both of those. And then this is the next little, that's the next loop right there, so you're gonna put it in there. The loops also look like little V's, which is like helpful. And then yarn over, pull through. And yarn over, pull through. And now the last little piece is always kind of hard to see. So that can be a little tricky to find, but you can see it right here, the V, like that. So you're just gonna put it into the back part of the V. Oops. Can be a little tricky. Pull through, yarn over. And you'll always know if you got the right part if it looks kind of like straight and not like weird and jagged on the end. Okay, so that's one row of single crochets. So now after every row, you're gonna wanna yarn over, pull through just to make a chain one, and flip. So now you can see these little holes that are forming all across. So that's where you're gonna put your hook into this time. So again, this is just single crochet. So you're gonna put your hook into the hole. Grab a piece of yarn, so you have two on the hook, yarn over and pull through. So yeah, and then you would just continue to do the same thing for however long the pattern says. And then here's the last stitch. Again, it can look a little like, oops, a little like hard to see where it is, but it's right here. And so you're gonna wanna get it underneath the V. Like for these ones down here, there was a hole that was pretty clear to see. It's kind of hard to see here, but basically you're just gonna wanna get it underneath the V. And you're gonna pull yarn through, so you have two, yarn over, pull through, just like that. And then chain one, and you're ready to start again. So, now I'll show you double crochet, because that's also pretty common. And it's so simple, it's pretty much the same thing. Oh, also this is what it should look like. And it's gonna look a little different on the back and the front, but that's how it looks. Okay, so to do a double crochet, it's pretty much the same thing, but you're gonna yarn over before you do anything. Go into that first little hole right there, grab a piece of yarn, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. So you're gonna yarn over and just pull through the first 2. Now you have 2, you're gonna yarn over again, pull through those. And that's your double crochet. And it basically just makes like a longer version of the single crochet. So here, I'll do that again. Yarn over, go into the hole and pull up a piece of yarn. Now you should have 3. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. Now you should have 2. Yarn over, pull through those 2. Now you have 1. And you can see it makes the hole a lot bigger. Just because it's like a longer stitch. So yarn over, pull up a yarn, go through the first 2, go through the next 2. That was a double crochet. A row of double crochet, and you can see how much bigger, like how much longer it is compared to like a regular row of like single crochet. So when you finish the row, you're always going to want to chain 1 and flip. So the next thing I can show you, which you probably won't use very often, I don't think I've ever made something with it, but you can do a triple crochet, which is you yarn over twice, basically. You go in here, into that first little hole, grab a piece of yarn, and now you'll have 4 little things. And you're gonna yarn over, whoa, oh my god. Go through the first 2, now you'll have 3. Yarn over, go through the second 2, now you have 2. Yarn over, go through the last 2. So that's a triple crochet, and it makes an even longer stitch. And again, I literally never use that, so it's just handy to know. I guess technically you could make a stitch however long you wanted by just yarning over a bunch of times, but those are the most common ones. So I'm just gonna get rid of that because I'll probably never use that. Oops. I undid my chain stitch. Okay. Another pretty common thing is to do ribbing. So that's like when it's like kind of like bumpy, like yeah, you know what ribbing is. Ribbing looks like this, like that, like bumpy. So that's really easy to do. Actually, you can do it with like single crochet, double crochet, but the only thing you're gonna do is to go into the back loop only. So just like you did when you had a chain, but you just go into that back loop and that's it. So you wouldn't go in through the little hole underneath. You're going to go in through just the back little one. So I'll just do it with single crochets. So in through the back one, pull up a yarn over, pull through. The same concept as a regular single crochet, except you're just going in through this through the top back loop. So I'll do that all the way down. Again, the last one's always kind of hard to see. Yeah. Then you're gonna chain one, and when you flip it, you're gonna do the exact same thing. So you're gonna go in the back loop again. So this is like a really good stitch for doing like crop tops and like shirts and stuff, cause it's like stretchy. Yeah, and just a lot of patterns have it. So if you ever see something that says like back loop only, that's basically what this is. And you can see it's starting to like make little like bumps, like a kind of like a zigzag texture. And if you were to keep going with that, it would just basically make a ribbed texture. And you can do that, the ribbing thing, with double crochets, triple crochets, like the same concept. So if I wanted to do it with double crochet, I'd yarn over first, go in through the top loop, pull up a stitch or a yarn, go into the first two, to the next two. Like, it's all pretty much really easy to figure out. The other thing that I saw on that pattern was a slip stitch, and this is kind of like a weird spot to do that, but a slip stitch is basically just going, like going in. So I'm not gonna, this isn't ribbing, so I'm just gonna go in through the little hole here, pulling up a piece of yarn as you would usually, but instead of yarning over, you just pull that piece of yarn through the one behind it, and that's basically a slip stitch. Just doing that. So yeah, that's that. It makes a really tiny stitch. So I don't know, but yeah, so there's those.